the host and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, party people, and welcome into a Wednesday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm Anthony Hartwig. That's Ty Bartell, and we're coming to you from the beautiful studio in East Palestine, Ohio, at the YSN studio. And Ty, we had a full day of baseball, softball yesterday. It was chilly, it was gray, but it was dry, which is all we asked for.
Yeah, and a full slate of results that came in too, multiple scores as well. Our partners over at WFMJ also had some tennis and lacrosse scores. We also saw that we're able to get to, and I believe Anthony Romo is going to be out at some more lacrosse this week too, if I'm not mistaken.
Romo's our guy, man.
So we have all kinds of sports that are getting featured on the show, but yeah, a full slate of baseball and softball games that we saw last night, and a ton of results that came in across the network.
Yeah, and I guess, like we always do, we'll start with the games that we were both at. We both had softball last night. You were in Austintown, Fitch, and the Falcons made a statement in the AAC with a 7-0 win over Boardman. And Cindy Watts, yeah, same old Cindy Watts.
Yeah, I mean, she looked dominant, 18 strikeouts over 7 innings pitched, a one-hitter, and a shutout performance. I think her strikeout total now is 199, just one shy of 200 on the season. So
I think she'll get it.
Yeah, I think she'll get it too. It's just dominating, and that's a big win for the Falcons. But the player of the game was Sammy A too, for a couple of big hits, 2 RBI hits, and a key hit that she got after the switch from Maddie Lester to Tori Strines. She got a huge triple off of Strines too, and that change of pitcher and just getting a different look immediately. She adjusted really well to it.
And you'll be able to find her post-game interview on the story on ysnlive.com. Also, head over to our YouTube page. Hit subscribe, hit that notifications bell, but you can find Sammy A's post-game interview there as well. Ty, I was at South Range, and everyone was talking about South Range Hubbard. This was a day where the 4 teams in first place in the 88, South Range, Hubbard, Lakeview, and Poland, all kind of squared together. We were going to see some separation. And South Range, their power set the tone. They had back-to-back home runs in the first inning. One from Kelly Zolik that was a 2-run shot over the left field wall, and then Sam Suzanne went to dead center and launched one right after her. Raiders were up 3-0. They scored 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and they won 7-0. Julie Stakowicz pitched a heck of a game. Only gave up 2 hits to that Hubbard lineup that is so good. And the Raiders kind of made a statement like Boardman, same score. Same score of Fitch Boardman that South Range Hubbard, 7-0 for both. And that's a game that you'll look at it and, Hubbard was winning. Hubbard is winning. They're gonna start that game where it was delayed. So Hubbard is winning 3-1 when those two teams meet up again. So to come off of that, just like South Range came off of that Lakeview loss, come off of that and be like, okay, we got to bring it today. And they brought it. 2-hit shutout from Stakowicz, and then some offensive firepower from Zolik and Suzanne got the Raiders a 7-0 win.
And that's a huge win inside that NE8 conference too. And what we saw happen in other games around the conference, that really does create some separation too, and kind of put South Range on that pedestal. But you do got to remember that 3-1 game is looming where Hubbard's leading, so they can get right back into this. And South Range already with 1 loss in the NE8 to Lakeview. We've already seen it's kind of a wide open conference. It seems like anyone can beat anyone in this conference.
Here's what's left for South Range as far as those 4 teams that are kind of at the top of the league. They have the continuation game against Hubbard where they trail 3-1. They still have to play Poland one more time. That'll be on May 5th, the day before prom. So you look at that, and they got through the Lakeview series. They lost one. They won one. They walked off Poland. Now they beat Hubbard 7-0. South Range is sitting pretty, but let's talk about the other matchup in that NE8, because we talked about 4 teams at the top, and Poland got enough of that game in last night that they were able to finish it and play another one without having to fear about losing daylight. So they walked off of Lakeview to finish game 1 8-7. A walk-off double from Leanne Williams in their home game. Both games were played in Lakeview, but Poland was the designated home team in game 1. And then Poland won 14-0. Just took all that momentum from that walk-off and just ran with it in game 2, and ran away with that 14-0 win over Lakeview to sweep that series.
It really sets up an vitally important game between South Range and Poland now, the second time around. And I mean, it was a 2-1 game that Sam Suzanne walked off with an RBI sac fly the first time around. It's a game that we expect. It's always a great matchup between Poland and South Range, but yeah, Poland really did kind of separate themselves as that other top contender with 2 big wins over Lakeview.
Yeah, because now it's all one day, and it's Poland South Range at the top.
Yeah, Hubbard and Lakeview had their chance.
They're looming because Hubbard still has 2 losses.
Opportunity. Yeah,
they still only have 2 losses, and they're winning against South Range 3-1.
And they still have to play.
They still have to play Poland once.
And South Range and I believe that's it. Do they play Lakeview?
Did they play Lakeview?
I don't know if they've played. I don't
think they did yet. So I think Hubbard Lakeview is still in the driver's seat. That would be one to watch out for, because they're both on the heels of those teams. So if South Range or Poland stumbled against Jefferson or Gerard or Struthers or something like that, that series between Lakeview and Hubbard, very important. In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and I mean that Lakeview can play spoiler now. Lakeview a little bit behind after those 2 losses to Poland. It does kind of put them behind the 8 ball. I still don't count them out as a team to watch out for in the tournament nonetheless, but right now Poland is in a good position, but the other team that's kind of looming as that wild card for this conference is Hubbard, and they kind of control their own future with, like you said, leading South Range in that other game, so they could try to split there, and they could split with Poland after a very close game that was a walk-off, if you don't remember.
It was senior night in Salem for their softball team. They got the win to celebrate their 4 seniors, and they have a win streak going on in Salem, and they're still rolling. They beat Canton South, and their record is now 9-9 on the year. It was also the birthday of Riley Troy. So not only was it senior night, it was Riley Troy's birthday. And by the way, she is up for Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. So what a week for you if you're a Riley Troy. She is, I believe, 99 Ks on the season. So we talked about Cindy Watts being 1 away from 200. Riley Troy 1 away from 100 on the season. So you'll look at it. Salem is going to be at Carrollton tonight, weather pending. And we'll see if they can continue their win streak. We'll stay in the EBC softball realm as far as YSN schools, and it was West Branch that was playing that Carrollton team that Salem is scheduled to play tonight. And man, these West Branch bats, man, they're ridiculous. 15-0, they got the win. It's just it's a fireworks show every time West Branch steps on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that women's athletics at West Branch continues to be dominating.
I mean,
the softball team is no doubt on some sort of hot streak right now. And like you said, 1 through 9, their bats are hot.
You look at it. Tori McKay was 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. Maddie Hawk was 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and an RBI. Reagan Greenison was 3 for 4. 3 for 4, 3 for 4, 3 for 4. Sydney Mercer 2 for 3 with 2 RBI. So their offense is just like Reagan Greenison is the leadoff hitter of that lineup. And then it just runs down the list like boom, boom, boom. You got Skylar Greenison and Sydney Mercer in the middle right there. Maddie Hawk towards the bottom, but obviously she's producing 3 for 4. You got Tori McKay and Riley Pittman right there under protecting Sydney Mercer in the 4 spot. They're in the 5-6 respectively in most games. And this is a lineup that's really hard to pitch to. They've only been really handled once, and that was Marlington beating them 4-3 in 10 innings.
Yeah, and I mean that's the perfect example too, because that's a Marlington team. That's a very good Marlington team as well too. So
Marlington team, by the way, will go into another score that beat Louisville last night 14-3 And so that's Marlington's little look into how we all know how good Louisville is. So if that's a sign of respect to Marlington, then that's a tip of the hat to the Dukes.
Yeah, no doubt. Dukes are something else too inside that conference.
It was also senior night in Beaver Local for softball. They got the win over East Palestine 8-0, and Olivia Keller, man, she's having a heck of a senior season in the circle and at the plate. She got the win in the circle, and she also hit a home run at the dish. She finished with 4 RBIs on the day, and senior Hallie Jordan had 2 hits as well. Addison Ells had a double, and then the freshman Laura Reeder had a hit and 2 RBIs for the Beavers as well. In the circle, Keller pitched a complete game, struck out 15, and allowed only 1 walk. So, hey, that's a pretty good day when you hit a home run and then you strike out 15, and the only base runner you give up is a walk and a hit. So,
yeah, I mean, doing big things over there, no doubt.
You have a big game for Nile. We're going to go into baseball because this is going to go right into our first guest of the day. By the way, today, 12:15, Anthony Fisher from Niles, 12:30, Caitlin Mitchell from Fitch, and 12:45, Evan Tice from East Liverpool. All boom, 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 right next to each other. And then Brian Tolnar at 1 o'clock, and then Scotty will round us off at 1:30. So a lot to get to today, but let's go into this Niles baseball game before we get Anthony on in just about 3 minutes. He threw a no-hitter against Struthers, and they needed every little bit of it because they won 1-0 over the Wildcats. And it was one of those ones where Niles kept getting hits. They kept getting runners on. They had 11 hits as a team, but they could only score 1 run. And they kept leaving runners on, but it was actually Anthony Fisher that scored that run in the top of the 7th inning to give himself a 1-0 lead and then finished off his no-hitter. He only walked – no, he didn't walk any, excuse me. The only base runners were 2 errors for Struthers. So he was 2 errors away from a perfect game.
And talk about doing it all yourself to get a win on the baseball diamond. I mean, that's literally saying, well,
I'll have to ask him how his back is because after all that, that cape wears heavy. But Anthony Fisher, the senior for Niles, he throws a no-hitter, and the Dragons get the win 1-0 over Struthers. Some interesting scores from the Garfield-Crestview matchup. Garfield gets to sweep in baseball and softball. They knock off undefeated Crestview on the baseball diamond, and they beat Crestview on the softball field as well. So Garfield, we just talked to Michael Pays yesterday. He was ready. They were ready, and they went right to it.
When I get back home, we're going to have to get the splits that we had tallied up because that was a game we did split on, too, on the baseball one. And, I mean, Garfield comes in with, I think, a huge win for this MVAC, too. Because, after they beat Liberty, too, they suffered their losses against Champion, and they were down a little bit. It was the ups and downs of a baseball season, but I think they just came back and reminded everyone just who they are with a big win against
that
Crestview.
Final score was 9-3.
Yeah,
by the way, and I think you picked Garfield.
Yeah,
so
reminded everyone just exactly who they are.
+6 to that. I know you picked Fitch, and I picked Boardman.
So that kind of cancels. Yeah, the South Range game cancels.
You picked Lakeview, and I picked Poland. If I don't mistake, if I don't not
yeah,
mistaken.
But which game are we tallying?
We didn't know it was a doubleheader.
Yeah.
We just picked one game.
So which game?
We didn't know they were continuing. So we're going to go with the game that was scheduled, which was at Lakeview, the game that Lakeview was the home team.
Just so you can get some points back. All right. We'll give you some courtesy points in that 14-0 win.
Champion baseball, they got into a thriller with Camel, and they were able to get the win by 1 run, 3-2 against the Devils. They put up a heck of a fight against Champion. But Jack O'Shaughnessy is a heck of a pitcher. He started the game for Champion, and he pitched really well. Actually got Brett Channel got the win for Champion, though, even though O'Shaughnessy got the start. So a great pitching staff effort for Champion. I think they had 3 pitchers go in the game to allow just 2 runs, and they got just enough of that victory with a 3-2 win over the Devils.
Yeah, that's a nice win for Champion, too, and a close one. But how about Camel? Being competitive, too, inside the conference. That's a nice job by Camel in that one.
We talked about having Anthony Fisher on from Niles. He's going to join us right now. And, Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for inviting me today.
I mean, let's first and foremost just talk about the excitement and the elation you feel after Throwing a no hitter like you do the last night. Just talk to me about the feelings and where your emotional levels are right now.
Well, going into it, I wasn't expecting much. This is my first start for a Niles conference game in probably about 6 years since Little League. So I've never been a starting pitcher. I've been pitched for Niles since I was a freshman because I had Tommy John surgery. So I wasn't going into this with like thoughts of, I'm going to throw a no-hitter or anything. So I was pitching pitch by inning. And then I look in the 7th inning, I see no hits, and it was a unbelievable feeling at the end of the game.
You got to talk about going through this. I mean, you had Tommy John surgery, like you said. You're working through it. You're not a starting pitcher, but they asked you to start last night against Struthers. It's an important NE8 game. What was going through your mind even before the no hitter? Just trying to get in a routine and trying to give your team the best chance to win last night.
Yeah, well, I was warming up in the bullpen. I was feeling good. Once I got through the first few batters, got in that groove, I was able to smooth sail. And obviously having the support from my teammates and all that, with the confidence, knowing they're behind me if they get a hit, it's a great feeling to have, knowing that I have that defense behind me.
Yeah, let's talk about the fact that this wasn't like one of those no-hitters where you guys were up 10-0 and it was kind of smooth sailing on that. This was a close ball game and a win was questionable. You score the run too ahead of shutting it down. What goes through your mind, I guess, when you score that run and you're knowing now I'm going into this next half of the inning having to shut down 3 outs away, no hitter complete?
Yeah, like as soon as I see that hit, I know I'm scoring. So going into that next half inning, I'm like, I'm at the peak right now. There's no one that could stop me from doing what I can do. No one could stop me. I just go in there with full confidence, shut them down, and then complete my no hitter.
Yeah, it was a great night last night. Let's talk about the season as a whole. Coming into your senior year, what were some of the personal goals that you set for yourself at the start of the season, and what did you want to see yourself kind of accomplish by the end of the year?
Well, I wanted to get back into the pitching role, obviously. Knowing I haven't pitched last year and pitched a little bit in the summer, but I just wanted to get back in the groove, being able to throw, obviously keep up the hitting that I carried on last year, keep it in the RBIs, and do whatever I could do to help my team out.
And let's talk about this journey you had to just get this next start. We talk about a COVID year. We talk about Tommy John surgery. Talk about all the work and effort that you had to put in to get back out there on the mound. And what is some advice to anyone that might be going through this or might have to go through this in the future? What's some advice that you can give them to get through it and get back out there?
Just take it slow is the best. If you try to go quick and try to rush everything, you're just going to end up hurting more than before. You're going to end up hurting your shoulder. If you feel the pain, slow it down. Take the time that you need. Go to someone who knows what they're doing. Like I went to Jason Stanford, who went through it, and I was with him for about a year going through it. He started me from just barely starting to throw a ball to getting me into a bullpen and throwing live sessions. So
how much do you think going through all that helped you become a leader to this team, a senior leader, and an emotional leader to the young guys on this baseball team?
I just think it helped build me, knowing like that they saw me, like what I had to go through to get back to where I am now. And I think it helps motivate people, and my team helps motivate me. And being one of the top leaders on this team, it's a good feeling knowing that we're still together as a whole. We're still a family at the end of the day, and I'll do whatever I have to do for that team, no matter what happens.
In this journey, who are some of those people you look to help kind of motivate you when you had those days where they weren't as good as the others, or you had those down days?
Oh, I mean, anyone, like all the seniors. I look at all the seniors, and even some of the sophomores, freshmen, the juniors that are playing. I mean, I know everyone on that team would do anything for each other. They're all, or a team as a whole, family. It's all love for these guys. Anybody will do anything to step up and do anything. I can't pick and choose anyone.
We know baseball is such a mental grind. It's a sport of failure, so you got to have fun doing it. Talk about some of the ways this team has fun, lets loose, and some of the things that you guys do to try to keep yourselves loose on the field.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we obviously we crack jokes, we try to have fun. And when times are like they get rough, like the 0-0 in the 6th inning when we have 9 hits, I mean, we just try to keep it light, keep the heads up, don't try not to get frustrated, or try to keep it cool. Have some fun.
I know how important Coach Gennari is to kind of this entire Niles community. He's well known throughout the community, 200 wins plus with Red Dragons baseball. How influential has he been to your baseball career and your high school experience?
Oh, he's been my coach since I was 5 years old. I mean, he's been one of the most important people in development and in my whole baseball career as a whole. He's pushed me. He's honestly formed me into the person I am today. He's helped me set me straight, put me on the right track. He's probably one of the most important people that have been in part of my baseball career and in my life in general.
Obviously, he's been coaching you for a while. What's one thing that maybe he said to you when you were younger, as a freshman or even further back, that you maybe didn't take at full heart then, but now that you're a senior in your season, you're like, okay, maybe Coach Gennari knew what he was talking about.
He was a big person of, if it's all mental, it's a mental of the game. Like he told me, he's like, yeah, you could be physically strong, but if you're not mental, if you're not mentally right, then you won't be able to do anything in this sport. And that is something that I never truly took a grasp of until looking back on last year and this year. And I'm like, I mean, he knows what he's talking about.
It's a live show. We have a question from the comments section on Facebook, and Chris Sigler wants to know if you got any superstitions during that no-hitter where you had to sit in the same spot or gotta let your teammates not talk to you. You gotta stay away. What was going through your mind superstition-wise during that game last night?
Besides, I always had to put my jacket on the same way. I had to put the right sleeve in first, then the left one, and I had to cross them. I didn't button it, but I crossed it. I just kept something. I had to keep it the same way.
Keep a rhythm up too to get to close out the no-hitter for sure. I mean, that's definitely a moment that's going to go in the senior scrapbook now. It's going to be in the memory book for high school. What are some other things that you're looking to accomplish in your senior year? Maybe not just athletically, but academically before you close out your high school career.
I mean, I just want to keep in touch with all of the bonds with all my teammates and stuff. Keep up the grades through college. And I want to keep pushing through my senior year of baseball, hopefully get those RBI numbers up, do whatever I could do, and keep winning baseball games. I mean,
and you bring up college because you've made a decision of where you're going to go and where you're going to play at the next level. Don't want to take that opportunity away from you. So for those people that don't know, why don't you share where you're going to be continuing your baseball career?
Yeah, I'm going to continue my baseball career at the University of Mount Union. I'm going to go attempt to play baseball there and hopefully carry on the career for another 4 years. From
red to purple. I like it. Just darkening up the colors a little bit.
Do you take this as well? I mean, obviously it's a personal challenge, but do you kind of go into this with a chip on your shoulder now? Because I mean, it seems like there's already been adversity that's been kind of holding you back in your life. You've already come back, Tommy John surgery through a COVID year, and showing that you still got the talent to go out there on the mound and do it. Do you feel like you have that chip on your shoulder going forward in life?
Yeah, I mean, I use it. I think that's purely like motivation, like knowing that I lost the 2 years I had of pitching, lost a year of baseball in general, and even still being able to go out last year and like put up some of the numbers that I did. I mean, I use it for purely motivation and just being able to do what I do. And
this is the typical baseball question we have to ask every play. The walk-up song, if you were able to get one. I don't know if Niles has the facilities to give walk-up songs or not. But if you had a walk-up song, what is it? What's the one that you want to walk up to?
My walk-up song for Niles is "Loud and Heavy" by Cody Jinks. And I got that motivation from summer ball. Some guy, because I had the long hair, and he called me Big Country. So
we talk about this no-hitter, and obviously we already talked about how it's going to serve as a great memory. Talk about some of your other great memories that you have with this Niles baseball team.
Oh, I mean, I've been playing with these guys since I was, like I said, 5 years old with Coach Canary, but I'll have to give it to one of my teammates, Matthew Kozak. I walk off the mound yesterday after throwing it, and he called me Shohei Tuna. So, because they call me Big Tuna because my last name is Fisher, so they call me Shohei Tuna for.
I love it. I love it.
All right, you got to like what's the better feeling, a big strikeout or that big hit that your team needs to score a run?
Oh, definitely the big hit for sure. I mean, strikeouts, they come. I mean, a big strikeout's always a great feeling, but knowing that big hit, that hit in the run that we needed to win, I mean, that's a better feeling than I think personally for a strikeout for me.
What we always like to do with all of our player profiles is give them a little bit of an opportunity to spotlight some of their support system, those people that have been in the bleachers, the stands, in the practices, cheering them on throughout their entire career. So I want to give you that opportunity to do so now.
Yeah, I'm super thankful for my family, my mom, dad, my brother. Then I want to give support for my girlfriend who was there for me yesterday, her Autumn. Then obviously all my coaches, the coaches, the players. I mean, there's everyone who's been there for me. It's just I'm super thankful for all of them that helped me push through it. All my hitting coaches, Jim Devine, Jason Stanford. I mean, it's just everyone who's been there and pushed me to be better and helped then shape me to the baseball player I am. So super thankful for all of those.
Anthony, we are super thankful that you were able to take the time to join us today. We love talking to you. Congratulations on the success that you've already had, and good luck in the rest of the season. We hope there's more success for you to be had, and even in the college ranks, in the college baseball as well. So good luck. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you in real soon.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Anthony Fisher, the one of the senior leaders, I should say, of Niles baseball, joining us on Running Point today. And man, you come back from Tommy John, you come back from, like you said, a COVID year where you have to sit anyway, and then you throw a no-hitter in your first start since middle school, he said. So what a moment. What a story.
I mean, it's adversity that you got to battle through, and I mean, shines bright on the mound last night, does Fisher, and that's a big no-hitter thrown for him, and we obviously wish him the best of luck.
Ty, I don't think you could script that in a movie and make it more believable. Like this, hey, I haven't started since middle school. I came back from a surgery, and here I am. I'm going to make my first start, and it's a no-hitter.
Yeah.
In a 1-0 game.
Then you also score the run in.
Amazing.
But you also score the run in.
Great story, great interview. We're going to go right into our next one. We have the softball side of things. Caitlin Mitchell from the #1 power-ranked Austintown Fitch Falcons joining us today. Caitlin, thank you so much for the time.
Hi.
Caitlin, let's first and foremost just talk about this team. You guys are such a group of different personalities, it seems like, too. Talk to me about this experience playing with this group of girls.
So playing with everyone, like, as we've played through high school together, we've gotten so close. So being able to share, like, the different personalities that we all have is amazing, because you just never know what you're really going to get from someone in certain scenarios. Like, if someone gets a really good hit, everyone goes crazy. So it's fun around that.
When you guys looked at this roster before the season, and you saw obviously Sydney Watts was coming up as a freshman, you saw that she was going to be led by a veteran catcher that had already caught really good pitchers. You looked at this lineup and the power that it has. Did you guys kind of get a sense that this season could be really special for you guys?
Yeah, coming into the season, knowing that Sydney was coming in and that we were going to have McKenna behind the plate was really exciting to all of us. I think we're looking forward to hopefully making it to districts, making it past where we ended our season last year, And with Sydney on the mound and McKenna behind the plate, I think we have a really good chance of making it past districts this year.
You're coming off of a trip down in Myrtle Beach where you guys were pretty successful in the field, but all in all seemed like a great trip and a fun trip that you guys had. Talk to me about some of your favorite memories from this trip and just some of the highlights that you had on it.
Yeah, so in Myrtle Beach, there was an obstacle course that we all went to. It was like a blow-up obstacle course in a lake. And we were able to jump off of the top part, and Coach Ward jumped off and he back smacked in the water. That was funny. And then we went to Dave & Buster's as a whole team, and we got ducks out of this prize machine. So we carry those everywhere. And then playing softball definitely down there was a new experience for me with the high school team. It was my first year going down there with them. And it was just great to be playing down there with them and then making new memories as we went along in the week.
Very generous to call that Steve Ward a jump, because I think it was more of a fall. But hey,
Yeah.
When you look at that trip and you look at some of the lessons that were learned about the players that you got to grow with, and about the game too, and the games that you got to play, what are you taking from that trip to the rest of the season now that you're back home?
Being able to grow as a team down there, we like down in Myrtle Beach, there were times where like we'd get mad at ourselves or stuff, and just being able to overcome those problems. And as a team, we definitely brought back with us, and I think we're going to grow from what we overcame down there. And so it's going to make us just a better team all around coming back.
Being one of the leaders for this team and being one of those girls that have been there, done that throughout the softball seasons, do you think a loss down in Myrtle Beach or a loss in this season was necessary for these maybe younger girls to experience before a tournament?
Yeah, I feel like a loss is something, that everyone has gone through, and losing, we went down there, I believe 10-0. So losing down there is definitely something that we probably did need, because it was probably going to happen eventually. And just being able to lose with the people that we're surrounded with, we weren't very sad about it because it was going to happen. But just being able to be with the group of girls that I'm playing with and overcome the losses is good.
And you guys don't get to play a lot of defense. Sydney Watts already has 199 strikeouts. It's kind of hogging the ball a little bit. What's it like kind of just watching that sometimes, and obviously having to keep mentally focused for when someone does happen to get a contact to the ball every now and then?
Yeah, so having Sydney on the mound is good because she's always confident in herself. She never gets down on herself. And with all the strikeouts that she has, we don't really, like you said, have to do anything really as a defense. But when people do make contact, we are always ready, because you always want to make that play. And girls do make contact with the ball, so we're just always ready. But Sydney definitely is amazing, and with those strikeouts, it leads us a long way.
Middle of this infield's like poetry in motion to watch defensively too. Talk to me about this relationship you have with Ayla Ray, being a sophomore and just being one of the younger girls too, that I'm sure has a lot of questions about working the middle of the infield.
So I have known Ayla for a long time, but coming into high school, we've gotten really closer, and being able to know that she's always there and that she will stop anything, just being as close as I am with her, we're able to work really good together in the middle infield. And I know she's always going to have my back, with pop-ups and stuff, that go shallow center. She's always going to be right next to me, ready to catch the ball. I know she's always going to be there.
All right, we got to talk about the paddles. We've talked about the paddles with every player we bring on. It's the running joke now with Fit Softball. Can you tell us from your perspective where it started and kind of how it's grown from this? Now it's just this phenomenon with Fit Softball that you guys got these paddles out.
One day we were practicing in the gym, or it was right before a game. We were warming up, and there's a closet in the back of the gym, and we all went in there, and it was Sophia Sinadak. I'm pretty sure she walked in there first and just brought out this paddle, and so we all took one. So during games, we'll hit them off the trash can in there, and it's so loud. We'll just hit them together, and it's just like so funny to all of us, and we have to have our paddle. So, I mean, it's something fun that we do.
Are the Ducks making a trip into the dugout now? Because you said you got these ducks in Myrtle Beach. Is this becoming like another thing going along with the paddles?
Yeah, it's like a race car duck, and
I was seeing these ducks in the dugout yesterday. So.
yeah, I brought it to the last 2 games, and I brought it to Myrtle Beach, our last game down there, and I made a joke that it's my race car duck, so I'm fast, and I'm not that fast, so everyone just laughs, and now I bring it to all the games, and I just mess around, and I'm like, this will make everyone fast. It's making me fast.
+5 in the pitch category. Speed +5 with the race car duck. Yep.
Yes, the ducks are coming everywhere.
Ducks are coming.
The good luck duck.
Lucky ducks. Yeah, I don't think you guys need much luck. When you think about it and you think about some of the things, the goals that you've set for yourself this season, what goals did you want to personally set for yourself?
The goals that I wanted to improve from last year, I would say less strikeouts than I had last year, better pitch selections. So going into my at-bats this year, I try to pick good pitches out, and then that will limit your strikeouts if you're not swinging at bad pitches. And then just defensively, I would say my goals are being able to stop everything that comes my way, and then have fun out there too with Sid, and then the infield and the outfield all working together.
Coach Ward's been a name that's been with that Austintown softball community for quite some time, has been there the entire tenure of your high school career. Talk to me a little bit about how important and how influential Coach Ward has been, not only in your high school career in the academics, but on the softball field as well, of course.
Yeah, so Coach Ward is never really negative towards anything. He's always positive on us, encouraging us to be the best that we can be. And on the softball field, he's always helping us. And after every at-bat, he's always telling us what we could fix or what we did in the scenario, like the outcome of that scenario. So he's really encouraging in that, and he helps all of us a ton. And then academically, he's an English teacher, senior English teacher, and I know I can always go to him for anything that I need school-wise too, besides softball. So that's good to have him in school too.
Doubling down on that and just talking about all the coaches that you've had in your life, what's some of the best advice that you've ever received from coaches that you kind of still carry with you today?
Just to always be confident in yourself, because once you get down on yourself, that's when things can go crazy. So I just always try to stay within myself, do what I know how to do, and just be confident.
What is Caitlin Mitchell's walk-up song if you had to have one?
It is Shots right now, and it skipped to that one part, Let's Go. It's like, let's go, ba-da-da-da, that part, because the rest is kind of bad.
You hear the whole dugout screaming every time her walk-up comes up to it. It's great. It's great. Talk to me, too, about just this team. And, I mean, like, Coach Ward tells me stories about you guys suntanning while other teams are warming up on warm days, too. Like, you guys have such a unique personality, and you have a unique approach to the game. Where does this kind of approach come from, where it seems like you guys are just so loose and so just having fun and in the moment every time you step onto that field?
So it all starts with warm-ups, because if you have if you just go through the motions during warm-ups, you're not really gonna be put together out there, kind of. So just it starts with warm-ups, and then going into the game, being together.
Favorite post-game meal, Caitlin?
Chick-fil-A.
That one that just came into the Austintown area.
You're right.
Yeah.
What's the order at Chick-fil-A?
12 count chicken nugget meal, large lemonade, and 4 ranch.
Lemonade. That's a classic drink.
Gotta go lemonade.
Gotta go lemonade.
Gotta go lemonade.
Waffle fries?
Yes.
Yes, because waffle fries are the best thing that Chick-fil-A has to offer.
Yeah.
What about the personality of the team? Ty's asked about it, but we've asked all the players as well who the loudest in the dugout is. We've gotten some mixed answers, so we got to ask you to tally up the votes. Who's the loudest in the dugout, do you think?
I would say Allie Foley is always loud.
It's another vote for Allie. I think, Ty, you've been keeping count.
It's Allie Foley gets some, Kayla Schubert gets some too.
Yeah.
But Allie's gotten a lot of votes too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this final question for you that I have. We always give our players that chance to shout out their support system, and no less, I want to give you that same opportunity. Those people that are in the stands cheering you on too, and have been there for you throughout your entire softball career.
I want to thank my family, my friends, all my coaches, my travel coach, any hitting coaches I've ever been to. Coach Bob Smith has helped me a lot. Definitely Coach Becky, Coach Ward, Coach Bob, Coach Fiddler. My friends, everyone's just always supportive of everything that I do. So, yeah.
Caitlin, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We love talking to you. We love the fact that you're able to join us. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, and we know that we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Caitlin Mitchell, Fitch Softball, another player profile in the can for them. And when you're number one in the power rankings, you're going to get some face time. That's how it goes.
No doubt.
Next, we're going to have Evan Tice, the one of the leaders of East Liverpool baseball, who hit a home run last night. So, yeah, something when you do good things, you get face time. That's how it rolls.
Yeah, no doubt.
Point. Before we get to him, though, let's take our first break of the day, and then we'll come back, get ready for Evan Tice from East Liverpool. Next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we continue into this Wednesday episode. We're going to go into East Liverpool Potters Country because we have Evan Tice joining us live on the show, and we're going to pop him in. Evan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Evan, let's talk about the fact that you crushed bomb number 1 on the season last night. Talk about that feeling, and let's ask the stereotypical baseball question of what was the approach in that at bat, and what'd you get?
Well, it was the top of the 7th. We were going in. We were going down in the game, so I was 1 for 3 that game, and I was like, I just need to put a ball in play. I need to get it out. There's 2 outs on the board, and I just need to do whatever I can to get on base and maybe drive something for my team to get up. So I saw the pitch, first pitch, I came, and I get it. I actually thought it was a pop fly, and I'm running. You can see in the video I posted, I was running hard, and then I'm rounding second. I look around. Everyone just stopped, and I hear clapping, and it was over. So it was a great thing to happen, and it helped my team get pumped up. Sadly, we didn't get the game, but got momentum going for a little bit in the late part of the game.
That's got to be one of the best feelings in the world, to not feel like you got it all, and then all of a sudden when you're rounding second, you realize that just went over the fence, and I'm going to be able to go to third into home. I mean, when you look at it and you look at hitting a home run and the feeling of that trot and the feeling of seeing your teammates at home plate, just give us that don't get that opportunity. Me and Ty don't hit home runs anymore. What that kind of feels like.
I mean, it feels great. It obviously feels great helping your team out, getting an extra point on the board, and it just feels great hitting big hits like that, especially with all the hard work I put in this winter. That's stuff I dream of every day.
Talk to me about just the adversity that, I mean, baseball players have had to go through too the last few years, with not having a season a couple seasons ago, and last season kind of being limited in the capacity in which you can have games now. Just being able to come back, and it seems like experience baseball when you can, despite the weather now.
Right, now it's the weather.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously my 8th grade year was the COVID year, so I didn't experience it with high school baseball. I was still playing travel and everything late in the year, but like our juniors and seniors now, they didn't get to experience that year, and it was hard for them. Like they only get 3 years of high school baseball, which kind of stinks, but it is what it is. It's hard, like keeping your arm in shape and keeping the bat going, especially with that long of a break, but you just got to do what you got to do. Little stuff that counts.
You know, you talked about the work ethic in the winter and the work that you put in to get to where you are now. Where does that drive come from, that inner spirit to say, I got to continuously better myself in this sport?
I mean, I love baseball, and a couple years ago, I kind of set myself on a goal that I want to do everything I can to be the best baseball player I can be. So every day I'm working harder than everybody else, trying to be the best I can be. I'm working on the little things that makes me better than everybody.
When you look at just hitting as a whole too, it's so hard to stay consistent when you have a constant stop and go of the weather stopping games or moving games, or you don't know if you're playing today or where you're playing. How do you kind of stay mentally focused, and how do you stay sharp with the stick and being able to still swing a hot bat too, despite not knowing or playing day to day?
I mean, almost every day I'm hitting off a tee. I'm trying to get BP in as much as I can, and my approach to the plate is I just try to get the ball in play every time. I take one at bat at a time. I just try getting the ball in play every time I get up to bat.
You know, with guys that have work ethics like you, they're always going to be proud of one thing that they kind of accomplished or one thing that they've kind of really improved on. What was one thing in the winter that you said, I need to get better at this, and now you're seeing yourself get better at it in the spring?
Well, I've never always had an arm to like throw down or anything. I never was the best at throwing down. And last year, I kind of set myself like I need to get my arm. So this winter, I really focused on getting my arm strength up, and you can really tell it's improving.
What is the most exciting part about playing for East Liverpool too, and what is it about East Liverpool that you hold with such high regard when you play with the Potters?
I mean, the Potter community is a great community. Everyone has each other's backs, and I love getting on the field with my friends every day. It's cool playing on a team with people you've grown up with every day, and it's just fun getting out there.
Now that we talk about the team, we have to talk about the school system and the fact that you go to East Liverpool. And what are some of the things that make the school a great place to be, and the teachers obviously that you get to interact with? What kind of things make the whole school system such a proud community?
I mean, everybody has each other's backs. It's like a big family in here up on the hill. Like, everyone's understanding. Like, right now I'm in the athletic director's office doing this interview, and all my teachers understand what's going on.
Talking about that too, and just talking about that support, you've had some great coaches then throughout your career up until this point, sophomore year of high school. So talk to me a little bit about some of the best advice that you've gotten from coaches that you still take with you today and you still kind of take with you in a day-to-day approach.
I mean, obviously, Tommy P's familiar with YSN. He's always helped me when I was younger, just growing up and doing everything to get better every day. When I was littler, my swing used to be really bad, and he always said, you need to switch your swing. And so a couple years ago when I switched my swing, you could tell it was improving, and I got a hang of it. And he just helped me get better every day, and he always had that faith in me. And everybody when I was younger had that faith in me too, and it just really helped push me.
You know, you talk about Tommy Pease, and he's obviously a good friend at YSN. Talk about some of the other people in your life outside of baseball that have kind of been role models for you throughout this journey.
I mean, obviously, my dad's been a big role model to me. He's always showed me how hard work pays off and just everything like that. And I've always grown up just watching my family and how hard they work, and my coaches and everything like that just helps me.
Aside from the obvious answer of saying the home ballpark in your short high school experience, what's been one of your favorite ballparks that you've gotten to play in?
That's a hard decision, honestly. Probably my favorite would have to be, I like Slippery Rocks Field a lot. Playing there is cool. Playing Eastwood Field in the summer is cool. A lot of those fields are nice. In the summer, it's a great experience because I get the opportunity to play on a lot of big ballparks, minor league and college ballparks. They're really cool. I just like that. And then like this year, Edison, Harrison Central, they have beautiful parks.
When you look at numbers being so important in baseball, what number you wear, a lot goes into it. What made you pick your number? The double nickels, double fives. What made you pick that?
Being little, growing up, watching the Pirates play, I always loved catching. And that was when Russell Martin was the catcher for the Pirates. And I just always grew up loving to watch him. And he was just my favorite guy to watch. And all until his Blue Jays career, I just loved watching him every day, and that just drove me. I used to be a big number 4 guy because that's what my cousin wore, but then I kind of switched it to 55 for baseball because that's Russell Martin's number, and I always liked him. And I kind of changed that into my own thing now.
DJ Oakley, I'm sure will appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sure he's right across that door. He's probably letting it go. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this East Liverpool community one more time. You've mentioned them. You've talked about them in such high regard too. I want to give you that chance to shout out your support system like we've done with all of our player profiles too. Chance to shout out those people that have been in the stands for you, cheering you on up until this point in your high school career.
I mean, it's amazing. My family's always got my back. My friends all have my back. Everyone with the staff at East Liverpool has my back. My coaches, my travel coaches are always there supporting me, and just the whole community is behind my back. So it's a great feeling.
And we got some comments, some questions in the comments section. Chris Sigler wants to know: do you have a preference on your bubble gum? Is it double bubble or Big League Chew? Which way you leaning?
Probably Big League Chew. Their grape
go.
flavor is probably the best.
I was gonna say, what's the flavor on that one too?
Definitely grape.
That new grape. I think grape's newer too, because I don't remember grape from old. I remember like the sour apple one they had too.
I feel like there's an intimidation factor if the pitcher sees you smile and you're like purple, looking like some kind of alien.
Talking about that, is there any superstitions that you have going to the plate or going into games and saying that?
I mean, the weird thing is I am totally a disbeliever in superstitions and I hate them. But the sad thing is I do them every day. Like, I always have the same warm-up routine I do, and I always put my catcher gear on a certain way, and I always do the same thing when I go up to bat. I always have a dot on my bat that I look at to focus in, and there's a word in my head I always think of before I go up to the plate to hit. So that just always helps.
The question is, do you feel uncomfortable if you don't do one of those things?
Right.
Yes, I definitely do.
So it's a superstition.
He would say that he's not superstitious. He's just a little stitches, right? All the
Everything else that's not occurring on a baseball diamond.
You love baseball so much. What's the go-to baseball movie? Do you have a baseball movie that's your favorite?
Obviously, a Sandlot's a good baseball movie. Major League's probably the favorite, though. We watched that in class a couple months ago, and I liked it a lot.
That's a fantastic movie, too. Talking about that, too, another great part about baseball is obviously the walk-up song. Some capacities and some facilities able to do it, others not. But in saying that, if you could have a walk-up song, if you don't, what would it be?
My walk-up song right now for home games is Go Hard or Go Home. It was in one of the Fast or Furious movies, and that's my motto. I go hard all day.
Get you hype up for that, for sure.
For baseball, it should be go hard and then go home.
Yeah.
Because if you go hard, you're coming all the way home, right?
Sure. He did last night, right?
Yeah.
Evan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We loved talking to you. We wish you the best of luck the rest of your season, and we know as your career goes on, we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Evan Tice, sophomore at East Liverpool, joining us on Running Point, and another great solid interview with another great solid baseball player in Potter Country, one of the teams that's kind of under the radar in baseball.
For sure. And I mean, we got some good baseball interviews. We had a couple baseball interviews. We got a softball interview. And then we closed the book on the baseball softball world, and we opened up the realm of golf with the golf guru himself coming up here with Brian Tolnar, and that's going to always be an exciting conversation. I love Wednesdays with Brian.
And Brian Tolnar will bring all the updates on Mill Creek Golf and what's going on at the Mill Creek Metro Parks. The weather, well, it doesn't really induce a lot of park activities today, but we're getting there. Brian, are you struggling with us trying to get through this April and just realize the light is so close and we are weeks away from consistently nice weather?
I'll tell you what, Mother Nature has been so cruel this spring. I don't know what we did to her, but it's been a rough go. I told my wife the other day, I said, spent the weekend, it's 84, 85 degrees, and you wake up this morning with almost what feels like snow. And last night we had some leagues play, and it was frigid. You could see your breath when you're parking carts at 7:30 last night. So it's been different this whole April compared to probably the other 7 Aprils I've been here now, going into my 8th year. It just seems like the spring just does not want to get here for whatever reason this year. So it's been challenging to say the least.
We've asked baseball coaches that have been doing this for a long time, and they all say this is like an unprecedentedly wet and soggy and cold April. What kind of challenges does that put on you and your staff when it is as wet as it's been, and we're also getting snow, we're getting cold weather? It's just not conducive to what a normal spring is here in Ohio.
Yeah, it's a lot of juggling, especially when it comes to the maintenance side of the operation. Really for our superintendent, Lance Bailey, and his staff, I think they're probably the most handcuffed out of anybody. For the golf operation side of it, the side that I have a thumbprint on, you can send folks home. You can send them home early. You can call them off. You can do things to, save some money throughout the course of the spring. The maintenance side still goes on, whether they're cutting the greens, if it's too wet, we're rolling them. We're always trying to do improvements. We're always trying to do projects. We're also trying to do chemical applications, because when it gets so cold, you got to put certain chemicals down. When it's so warm and you're dealing with heat stress, you're putting different chemicals down. So to maintain the property and do the things that need to be done on the day-to-day basis, it's a lot more stressful for the maintenance side. And I really feel for those guys who, not only have to be out there in the cold, but I mean, you're still cutting grass, you're still putting in irrigation, you're still clearing out down trees, you're still picking in the fall that obviously we didn't get to, and to start up the spring, and then to have that summer like weekend that we had, we're back on track, and then to kick it off this week, and it's 45 degrees yesterday, and I think we're at like 39 or 40 degrees right now. So it's made it extremely tough, and it's certainly very, very wet. Not only here, but any of the golf pros that I've talked to in northeastern Ohio, are all dealing with the same thing. You're juggling staff, issues, you're juggling the wetness. Being on cart path only is, not something we want to be from a day-to-day basis. We want the carts to be able to go and roam, and we were close. If we didn't get the last batch of rain, we'd have been off the cart paths for the first time all year. The driving range here at Mill Creek hasn't opened all year because it's been underwater, which is normally at worst, the first week in April, we'd normally have that open, and we haven't had it open the entire month of April, and we'll be lucky to get it open the first week in May, the rate that we're going. So we definitely need some sun. We need some wind like we had, 85 and sunny with a little bit of wind or some heavy winds, certainly helps dry us up pretty quickly. But you need that kind of weather. And like I said, Mother Nature has been super cranky this year. I don't know what we did to her. I thought it was a kind of a rough winter, or the last part of winter, where it just kept, wanting to carry on. And we're kind of still in that little sort of jet stream as the weather goes, to making sure that we have golf opportunities. We got our senior league wants to start on Friday, but I think we're going to push them back an hour or two just to be able to get them in, because there's going to be a frost delay on Friday morning, but normally they would be underway right now too. And some of the leagues that have gone out there, I mean, it hasn't been very warm for them, so you feel bad.
Talking about that too, and just battling through this adverse weather, what's kind of a bit of advice you give to people that are kind of stuck inside too, if the colder weather's preventing them to get out there on the course to kind of get their golf fill in?
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, if you have the opportunity to go to a place like the Bunker or Kensington, who has an indoor facility, or a Top Golf, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, we have a lot of people and a lot of folks that go do that just to really stay in that golf motion. I mean, obviously leagues are starting, bowling leagues are finishing up, so golf leagues are starting. The first couple of weeks aren't so much fun sloshing it around when it's really soupy or wet. Really do the things that you've done, during the off season to keep your body in shape, whether it's hit the treadmill, whether it's doing flexibility exercises, things of that nature. We're just going to extend that out for another 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending upon, when we really want to break and jump into the latter part of summer. I mean, you look at the trees out there, they're budding up one week, the buds are falling off the next week with frost and snow, and then they're budding up again. Now we've got some foliage on the tree. So, we're getting there, but this winter seemed to have just dragged on, super long. And I think everybody's ready for it to be like what we had this past weekend.
I don't know if those fatheads behind you have been new or if I just haven't noticed them. But it's a perfect segue to talk about the other people on the professional golf staff. I think Ryan's there, and I think you're blocking Stacy. There it is. I don't think we've actually asked you about them and to talk about them and what they bring to the table and what it's like working with the other golf professionals at Mill Creek and what they kind of do for you.
Well, Stacy's been here for, I think this is her either 14th or 15th season for us. Very versed in the golf business. I mean, she does a ton of teaching here. Very good teacher, as is Ryan. Very good at merchandising, very good at customer service, running tournaments and dealing with, the league chairs and speaking at, different league banquets. We do a lot of spring functions with our leagues here. We've got 41 leagues. So we're very active in either the spring banquet or the fall banquet, or most of the time both. Going over the rules of the game, running tournaments, running leagues, organizing handicaps and things of that nature. Ryan Turnbull, who's our assistant, he's been here for a year now. He graduates from Youngstown State this coming weekend, the 7th. So we're happy to have him, as soon as he graduates, to, become into a more full-time role with teaching and doing the junior camps and running the par 3 league at the Wick Recreation area. Running and helping with the PGA Junior League that we have here too. So again, Ryan's very well versed. We've thrown him in the fire when it comes to merchandising, going to the PGA show, sitting down with sales reps at the end of the year. Just really giving him that firsthand knowledge of, he wants to have a career as a PGA professional in the game of golf. He wants to be a head professional director of golf at a facility. Working with the superintendent, in our case, working with the recreation department on clinics and running leagues and things. Wonderful job. And I think we have probably one of the strongest teams in the Mahoning Valley, and that goes with Lance Bailey, our superintendent, his assistant Dave Donaldson, our rec manager Chris Bundy. All of them, put in countless numbers of and the product that they put out is at the highest level possible. So we're happy to have obviously Stacy and Ryan here at the golf end of it, but our entire team. I can't thank them enough for all the hard work that they put in, all the blood, sweat, and tears, and all the dedication above and beyond 40 hours of work each week, year in and year out, in the off season too. So they work hard. They're with us with our clinics, our Down syndrome clinic that we just finished up at Youngstown State University. Both played a huge role with that, and the response that we've had with that's been phenomenal. The ladies golf school that's about to kick off here next week, the PGA Junior League orientation family meeting and players meeting, a ladies preseason clinic. We've got, talking about junior golf camps, we've got our June camp just about filled up. I think there's about 6 or 7 spots of that left. We're working on filling up the par 3 junior golf league on Saturday mornings that we'll run internally here. So there's a lot of good things going, but there's a lot of work behind the scenes. And, Stacy and Ryan and Chris and Lance and Dave do a phenomenal job in making everything look good. When the customer gets here and the patron gets here and walks in, not only for making them feel welcome, but giving them a slate and a schedule of opportunities that, really no other golf course is doing right now to bring people into the game. So we're happy to carry the mantle when it comes to that and bring as many people into the game of golf as we possibly can. We want to grow it, and we want to grow it quickly. And in the past 8 years of the foundation that we've been able to build here is, with their help, has certainly helped us get from point A to point B in less than a decade.
Perhaps a call to action here, but let's talk about this AJGA tournament here and maybe some need for volunteers from my understanding.
Absolutely. We're in our 7th year of hosting the American Junior Golf Association. This year we received a new sponsor, Mercy Health Foundation. We haven't officially announced them. We've got a press release going to go here shortly, but you guys got firsthand of who it's going to be. They're title sponsor heading in from year 7 all the way up to 11. So we'll keep this tournament in the Mahoning Valley, which has raised a little bit over $2 million in the 6 years that it was here for financial impact. So, with that comes responsibility of finding volunteers for scoring and water rovers and timing stations and registration and scoring. So we've had and we're super excited to keep them in the fray. And we're always looking for volunteers to help with a myriad of activities during tournament week. So if you have an opportunity during the week of June 19th through the 25th, we have probably about 40 shifts per day in the 2 tournaments that we're hosting. Last 2 years, we've started the Junior All-Star event that we've hosted since 6 years ago. We also added a preseason event to that as well. So there's 2 tournaments in one really going on that week. So it's really made us elevate the number of volunteers that we host per week. So we're anywhere ranging between 120 and 140 volunteers during tournament week. And obviously having 2 tournaments here, it's really expanded that role a little bit based on the need of 2 separate tournaments going on at the same time. So we're happy to have anybody that's interested in volunteering, give us a call at the golf shop, and we'd love to sign you up. And we really try to work around your schedule when you're available. If you could call at 330-740-7112, we would definitely get you signed up to host one of the best tournaments in the AJGA host. They host 14 all-star events of their 120 some plus tournaments a year. And we're one of the upper echelon tournaments. So it's nice to have the folks here in the Mahoning Valley. Just to give you a little bit of a background on the event, Max Mullivan, who won our first 2 events here, has won 3 tournaments in the NCAA, plays for Ohio State. The girl that won it this past year, she's qualified for nationals in the drive, chip, and putt. She won our tournament. She's planning on going to the University of Georgia. So, I mean, you're talking high-level players that come in here. You guys had the opportunity to meet some of them last year at the tournament when you guys were on site. Just a very mature group of people, very fun. 6 and 8 years down the line. So it's neat to be able to see them here in the Mahoning Valley and, having aspirations to play collegiate golf and then move to the next level professionally. So, to be able to say, if Max Moldovan, makes it to the PGA Tour and the rest of the winners that have played here, to be able to say, hey, they played here. We were fortunate to have a couple of the girls that qualified for the Augusta National Women's Invitational. So we got to see them play during Masters Week on Monday and Tuesday when they played their tournament. So, it's really neat to have, the folks that you see on the leaderboards here at Mill Creek on the leaderboards at, major amateur events, at major collegiate events, and playing on the PGA Tour. I mean, if you look at the following that the PGA Tour has, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, Paula Creamer, Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, all of those names played on this AJGA Tour, and we're fortunate to host it here in the Mahoning Valley.
All right, before we let you go, there is professional golf to talk about, the Mexico Championship this weekend. Give us a little bit of a course overview and your top 5.
Having some trouble with the audio.
Yeah, we were cutting up on you a little bit too. But before we let you go, talk about that Mexico Championship this weekend and your top 5.
All right,
you good?
There's the glitch gremlins attacking again.
We good, Brian?
Well, we head to Mexico this week. It's a tournament spot that was normally hosted by Doral, so it's a different type tournament. They go to the Veladante Golf Club in Mexico. It's a Greg Norman design. It's a par 73. Normally, when the PGA Tour plays events, they're playing par 70, 71, or 72. It'll be interesting to see what they play this week because there is 5 par 5s on the golf course this week. I'm thinking they'll take the 4th hole. They'll make that into a long par 4 for the guys coming in at 506. But the rest of the par 5s are north of 600 yards, one reaching 670 yards. So it's a very healthy par 5 when push comes to shove. So I think those par 5 holes, I think the player that takes advantage on those can make a lot of birdies and have an opportunity at eagles. And then they also have the drivable number 7. It's a par 4. It's about 297 yards. It's a high risk, high reward hole. Very pretty holes, not the holes that you normally see when you go to Mexico or Cabo or anywhere that you play below our U.S. southern border. They're normally like a link style. They normally have a lot of beach to them, a lot of sand. This week, they're going to have a very American feel to it. There's a lot of tall trees. There's a lot of ponds. There's a lot of creeks that go through. It's a very Americanized golf course. And I think with what Greg Norman's been able to do down there in design made something very, very different when it comes to the golf course in Mexico. So, having that being said, the Power 5 this week will kick off with number 5, Kadrick Affey Barnrat, great international player, has played well in a number of events overseas, has won probably 8 or 10 times internationally. I've got him in the 5 spot this week. Coming in at number 4, Kevin Na, one of those guys that just hits a lot of greens in regulation. He's very good from tee to green. If he gives himself a number of opportunities, I expect him to play well this week. He seemed to have a spark the past 2 weeks, and I think he'll do well. Coming in at number 3 is Tony Finau. Tony Finau's, as in his entire career, he's won a couple times, but he always seems to play 3 rounds out of 4 very, very good. I think if he gets over the hump and he really plays that 4th round or 3rd round good to get in 4 solid rounds, I think he's a potential guy that could win not only this week, but multiple weeks during this year on the PGA Tour. And then heading into our number 2 spot, Patrick Reed. Big name, one of the few big names in the field this week. From tee to green, he's as solid as anybody in the field. He hits a lot of greens. He's very streaky with the putter. I think he could get hot and make a nice run. And then our number 1 pick this week, to what I feel is the number 1 player in the world, just based on how he played in his majors. I know Scotty Scheffler is our number 1 player, but Jon Rahm, the Spaniard, he's going to play in some conditions that he's used to playing in growing up, firm and fast. He's my number 1 player in the world right now, just because of what he's done in his body of work in the WGC events, in the majors, and so on and so forth. But Jon Rahm, I think if he, gets his game back to what we're used to seeing the past in 2020 or in 2022.
Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. A great segment as always with the Golf Guru from Mill Creek Park. We thank you for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Great segment as always with the Golf Guru from Mill Creek Park. We thank you for your time.
You're just gonna wait this one out.
I think he's just a little.
Thank you.
Glitch gremlins. What can we do, right?
I love that you had to sit there and you listened to the whole
I wasn't going to
sentence.
cut him off.
No, but now
we're good.
Back on topic though. No, Brian, you got to think about it. It happens in all sports too. It's not just baseball, softball, Rome that's dealing with adverse weather conditions. There's other sports too, and a lot of people partake in golf too, especially early spring. It's a great time. It's usually cooler temperatures. You like that typical 50, 60 degrees in the morning, early morning into the early afternoon to golf. But now we're talking like snow, rain, 30 degrees. Like it's unpleasant.
Storm Tracker 21 app has it at 38 degrees right now.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's golfing.
It's unpleasant for a lot of those.
Although there could be some dedicated golfers.
There's diehard golfers that are going to be golfing, no doubt.
They're like an inch of snow. Hold on a second. I can still find my golf ball.
It definitely detours away a lot of the casual golfers that like to go golfing in those morning. So hopefully weather straightens up. We get more baseball, softball for our sake. Mill Creek has more traction and more golfers go through the courses for their sake too, as hopefully just weather and Mother Nature becomes kind to us. Because like Brian says, I don't know what we did to tick her off, but hopefully we get in our good graces again real soon.
We'll take away from that conversation as well. If you are interested in volunteering for the AGGA tournament that Mill Creek Park will be hosting very proudly, make sure to get in touch with them. Like Brian said, it's really easy to volunteer. They're so flexible with when you're available, but they need volunteers to run that tournament as well as they do. So if you're able and if you're willing to volunteer, make sure to get a hold of Mill Creek Metro Parks and tell them that you want to volunteer for the AGGA. I had to say that very slow.
Yeah, AJGA.
AJGA tournament. And it'll be a fun time. Last year we were kind of down there for a couple of days of it. We got to meet some of the golfers. It was a great weekend, great week for Mill Creek Park, and we can't wait to have it here again this year.
You heard all the big names that Brian mentioned too that have gone through these AGGA tournaments too. So it's not like these aren't nobodies that are going through. These are some pretty big names that go through these golf tournaments too, and it's some of the best of the best. And like you said, we're lucky to have it in the Mahoning Valley too. So if you have a chance to get out there and help out too, and if not, get out there and just go view it too. Go get out there and go get out there and watch the golfers too, because it's going to be a fun tournament. You're going to see a lot of the area's best.
I had to Windsor the University of Georgia. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I know. I saw you. I saw you. I was giving the fist bump. Let's go.
So that's all good though. You want to go golf in the SEC, that's fine.
I think he did that just because you were wearing the tech gear. He's like, UGA. Let's mention UGA.
That's ugly. It sounds. Back to today, and we're gonna have Scotty on a little bit. But I guess before we do, we should take care of the games tonight and what matchups are tonight. What matchups have already been canceled, and everything like that. Because it is cold, and there have been some games that have been axed to this point. And we will go into our scheduler, Quinn, and he'll have the fully updated schedule so far today. And we are on Wednesday, and we can tell you that the games that are canceled so far on the baseball side, Cardinal Mooney at Howland has been postponed. Jefferson at Struthers on Scene 1 has been postponed. Liberty and Brookfield has been postponed. Hoover going to Louisville has been postponed. And Ursuline at Lakeview has been postponed. Those are all baseball games. Softball, we only have 2 cancellations so far. LeBray at Springfield has been postponed, and then Latonia at Lisbon has been postponed. Also, the continuation of West Branch versus Ursuline at West Branch has been postponed as well. So those are some ones that are postponed for now. So far greenlit, though, we have 5 games that are supposed to be on the network. Columbiana at United, as of now, is still happening on the baseball side. So is Alliance at Salem, and that'll be Derek Rhodes in the call in Salem and Joe Eusebio making the trip to United to call that baseball game. On the softball side of things, Beaver Local still going to Crestview. That will be called by Noah Doty. Cheney still at Niles. That's going to be called by Noah Ricks. And Columbiana at United softball. That will be Chris Sigler on the call. So as of right now, those 3 games are still, those 3 softball games, 2 baseball games, 5 total, are greenlit on the network. Make sure to stay tuned to the rest of our show in case we get updates, and also ysnlive.com/live is the place to go right before game time to make sure your game is still up and running on our broadcast schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now 5 greenlit. I think Chris Ziegler has a fantastic one tonight too. That's going to be a great one. And
it's not the continuation. It's not the one that it's going to be a new game at United. They still have to continue the game at Columbiana, which I believe the Clippers are currently leading 4-0.
Speaking of continuation, that was the game I was at last night. Fitch and Boardman was the continuation of the happening that you were at. So
wait, so Boardman Fitch was a home team, but they went into that game with a happening over.
Yeah, for top half they went into the bottom of the first. With
no one hit yet. I don't think anyone.
Fitch just started to bat, and the top half of the first.
You know what? We're just gonna that top half of the first didn't happen.
Yeah, and then so it was a continuation. I was like, thanks for the tag for my tag team partner, Anthony.
I'm tagging you real quick. I didn't even get a pitch in.
Cindy wants us too much. I can't call her, tag him in.
Literally, that broadcast was, hey, everybody, welcome to we're shutting.
Mother Nature did not want you in that.
We're going down. But Thursday is going to be right now, I believe it's at Boardman on Thursday, because that's what Coach Ward emailed me last night with the box score at Boardman on Thursday. So I'll be there tomorrow, I guess I should say, for Fitch and Boardman round 2. And that one will not be rained on. I am adamantly.
He's making sure of it.
I am doing every anti-rain dance possible.
Yeah. There you go, man. There you go.
To my best ability.
You keep anti-rain dancing too all the way through our break before we bring up.
Unfortunately, anti-rain dances also require a backflip, and I can't do that.
Well,
so if it does rain, it's not my fault. I have limitations. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We need a resident gymnast to do our backflips for the anti-rain dance. I have no idea what I'm just spitting stuff at this point.
Yeah.
I think we should take a break. This is Running Point. We'll have Scotty on the other end of this break on ysnlive.com. Running Point brought to you, as always, by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They're not above your head. They're above my head.
Okay.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting. where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig, Scotty Mincher, Ty Bartell sharing a camera window. And Scotty, thanks so much for coming back on. And I missed you last week, bud.
Yeah, I miss you too, Anthony. But somehow, some way, as the old saying goes, the show must go on. And somehow, some way, me and Ty were able to get through it without too many tears.
Somehow, some way, acting like you aren't the boss. Come on, Scotty. You could stroll into the show and own it. Scotty, as always.
I am the best backup QB we have here.
Bringing up the reliever, right? Always. You brought the reliever when Ty had to miss a Wednesday, and then I had to miss a Wednesday, and you're relieving me. So you've relieved both of us, and you're 2 for 2 in save opportunities.
Call him Mincherano Rivera.
I'm like
Mincherano Rivera for the closer.
I'm like Andrew Miller.
He had to bring up a guardian. So
yeah,
Scotty, you always bring great stuff to the show. What have you brought for us today to talk about?
Yeah, today, guys, I just first wanted to get both of your thoughts. I had a couple of topics, but I wanted to get both of your thoughts on the lackluster starts for just about every team in the AL Central Division, considering we're both AL Central fans. Me and Ty, fans of the Guardians. You, of course, Anthony, the Royals.
I think Ty should be a Red Sox fan.
What do you make of the Patriots Central so far? How surprised are you guys that the White Sox have struggled so bad? And do you think it's kind of just going to be this way all season and be a mediocre division? What are your guys' thoughts?
I think it's way too early to judge what team. I mean, we're 14 games in the season, maybe. It's baseball. Let's pump the brakes. I think the White Sox have plenty of time to be what everyone thinks the White Sox are going to be. And I think, let's not overanalyze 14 games, right? I mean,
I think Kansas City will scrape the bottom of the barrel if they're lucky this season. That's
Hey,
what I'm thinking.
as long as we win the games that Zach Greinke actually pitches, then I'll be okay. Because like we've already lost 2 1-0 games with Zach Greinke on the mound, so it's like, come on, guys, you got to score 2 runs and we win. Let's go.
But
hey, we're in third, so you hush.
This is my point, though, guys. Anthony, you make a very good point talking about how early it is in the season, and that's very true. As the old saying goes, the baseball season isn't a sprint, it's a marathon.
Right. Like, what's the old, like, you can't judge a team until game like 40. Is that what they usually say? Like, 40 is when you start to see, okay, this is what the team is going to kind of be.
Yes. But with that being said, we haven't had a team that get off to a red hot start so far this year. And they also say that you can't win your division in April and May, but you can lose it. But it doesn't seem like anybody's losing it right now. I'm not going to go that far. But are you guys, I know it's a small sample size, but did you think the division would be better than what we've seen so far at this point?
Let's remember, no one in the division is like stinking. Like, oh my gosh, they're terrible. I mean, even the last place team, Detroit, has 6 wins on the year, 6-10. So I mean, 6-10 through 16 isn't like historically bad or anything. So the division isn't blowing anybody away or running away with anything. But we don't have any teams in that division that are like, oh my gosh, they're 2-12 and they're already out of it too. So it's not a terrible division. I think everyone's just trying to regather. It started late. It's probably hard for the baseball players to have a 2-week spring training and then let's go. I know pitchers have kind of, wasn't it Kershaw that had a no-hitter going? They pulled him out and he agreed with it because he only had 2 weeks of spring training.
And a lot of fans, I heard that a lot of Dodgers fans were upset about that.
How can you be upset when the guy comes out and says, yeah, it was the right thing to do? Like if Kershaw got upset about it, then I would be like, okay, go get upset. But like if Kershaw comes out and says, yeah, I probably should have been
if he wants out of the game, like what are you gonna say?
Like,
no, you're staying in.
I think at his point in his career, he's like, I don't need a no-hitter to ruin.
He already has a no-hitter.
Right. Like I don't need that to ruin my arm.
But he's also like one of the nicest guys that I've ever seen doing it. I don't think he's gonna. It take a lot for him to be like kicking and screaming.
Right. The
he's
Mets,
an ultimate team guy.
The Mets are the only team that are kind of like running the show right now. I mean, they're 14-5, I think, the last time I looked. So the Mets, and I never thought I'd say that, but the Mets are the best team in baseball right now. Is that a surprise?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't
the amazing Mets.
I haven't checked his stats in the last few days or so, but I know Lindor was off to a lot better start than he got off to last year, which he had a very poor season considering his expectations. So that helps the Mets. I know he's already at a 2-homer game.
I think fans got to remember, baseball, you can have a bad season. Like it's gonna happen. When Lindor's career is 8 years now, so you have 7 good seasons, 1 bad season, and it's like law of averages in baseball is gonna kind of.
You talked about that Kershaw game, and you brought that up. Do you think, relating it to the high school level, do you think that decision being seen and being viewed by millions now in a worldwide, widespread audience is going to start paying dividends in the high school level, and we're going to start seeing more coaches be okay taking pitchers out when they have no hitters or perfect games on the line? I know there's rules in place, but it's never. I know OHSAA's rules, and I know every state probably has their own different set of rules. But do you think that it's going to start causing more awareness to be brought up for the high school level and just taking care of the arms too, because that's where you need to start for these professionals?
I think Coach Pace yesterday brought up a great point when he said that there's arm soreness. You have to watch arms this year because we're starting to stop it so much. We've seen a couple combined no-hitters in baseball, like not one player, but like, hey, you pitch 4 innings, the guy comes in, pitches the last 3. So we've seen a couple combined no hitters this year in the high school level. So I think coaches, especially this year in Northeast Ohio, are very focused on how sore a kid's arm is, and watching pitch count and watching, even command. If command starts to shake a little bit, but he hasn't given up a hit, and you can tell, okay, this kid's laboring, and he also hasn't pitched in, 7 days because we've been rained out. Maybe I should go get him.
Do you see in the major league level, Scotty, more relief pitchers? I mean, we've already seen an uptick in relief pitchers, I feel like, in the last 10 years. Do you think it's going to go up even more now, and where we're going to see almost 6-7 pitchers average by a team a game now?
I do. And even with the rule with the a pitcher that comes in relief has to face a minimum of 3 hitters. I just think that's the way it's gonna be. I just think they know much more today about the pitch count, and so many guys have had to get Tommy John surgery. I just think you've seen it be effective. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays got all the way to a World Series basically going pitcher by committee and using a ton of their pen. So I think that's kind of going to be the new wave in baseball, unless you're talking about the front of the line. If you have a flat out just stud ace at the top of the rotation, I can see it. But if you have a lot of just serviceable or adequate pitchers, I think the leash for starting pitchers is just going to get shorter and shorter. But I could be wrong.
Do you think more high school players will now try to stick with pitching or pick pitching up now if there's more opportunities that are created in the next level? Because if we see it in the professional level, obviously college,
everything's a trickle down,
right?
So I
think it's an interesting conversation to bring up, because it's
back to Garfield. Like Coach Pace said, he has more pitchers than he's had in a while. People want to pitch.
It's a huge shift, and we see it in all sports, but baseball's been so interesting because it's been so much on player safety and taking care of these pitchers' arms now. We've gone from pitchers back in like the 60s throwing 185 pitches, 9-inning games, to now they're throwing 4-inning starts, and we're okay with it because we have 3 middle relief guys, a setup guy, and a closer, and that's just how teams are made up for now. And I think it's interesting for those high school levels too. And you might start seeing more kids start trying to participate or pick up or stick with pitching throughout middle school.
I think you would see that a little bit more in the bigger schools, the specialized kids that I gotta just focus on pitching. Don't put me in center field anymore. But it's funny because when you go to college, all of a sudden you stop hitting for your team, right? Like most pitchers in college don't hit. But in high school, all these pitchers are raking, right? Like Anthony Fisher, we talked to him today. Pitched a no-hitter, scored the game-winning run. And it brings up, did you guys see the post-game conference with LSU a couple weeks ago where they had to have the pitcher hit, and he was telling his coach was telling him not to swing at anything. Another team switched pitchers, and he was like, oh, they're getting scared, coach. Can I swing away? And he told them that I hit in high school. And then after the game, he goes, Coach, I lied. I didn't hit at all in high school. So yeah, but I think pitchers are becoming more dynamic a little bit, and we might get the reverse of that. We might see pitchers start to say, the pitching opportunities are getting bigger. Let me just focus on my pitching niche.
And even guys again, just using the professional level as an example, but somebody like Terry Francona, who's been around,
always going back to the Guardians, man.
But he's been around the game a long time, going back to his days, managing Michael Jordan in the White Sox farm system, and even before that in the 80s as a player. He actually had a cameo in the movie Major League. But my point is he's evolved, and he's somebody, he goes back far enough to where pitchers dominated. He had some great pitchers when he was first manager of the Red Sox in the early 2000s, and they won a couple World Series. But he's really evolved, and he likes using a lot of pitchers out of the pen. So I think even the older guys that have been around the game longer, that are 50 something, 60 years old, I think they're even just learning to evolve and adapt with the game.
If it is a trickle-down effect, we're just going to see an inflation of rosters because Major League's allowing more players on their roster. The uptick of pitching, you'll see colleges start taking more, and then high school levels will probably start taking more players on their team. The bigger ones, obviously, like you said, too, they're going to take more to have more pitching depth. But if you have the opportunity to take more with cuts, as some schools do, you're probably going to take more to have pitching depth at the high school rank.
Here's the funny thing, like, not all pitchers are equal, right? Like,
No.
so, are you just saying, hey, this guy wants to be a pitcher, let's just throw him
Yeah,
out there?
I mean, it's obviously, well, that the interesting thing is going to be how you're going to develop them too.
We have pitching depth. No, you don't.
You need to get guys developed for sure.
Excuse me.
But no, that interesting topic though, Scotty. Obviously, I mean, baseball is always evolving and always changing too. And I think they're starting to focus a lot more on player health too, and it's going down all the way to the high school level.
All right, Scotty, we cut in a little bit to your trivia time. I'm going to give you 12 minutes. 154 is what we're going to. It's 142 right now, to get as many trivia questions in as you can for the robot over there sitting next to you. He's right next to you, so there's got to be a little bit of intimidating.
I'll have to go like this too, so I make sure I
don't look at his computer.
Yeah, we gotta make sure.
See, do one of these.
Yeah, I have to make sure I go. I'll do one of those, Scotty. I have to look like down in a way.
Scotty needs one of those like personal folders that we used to use in elementary school.
All the cheating kids in class ain't it? Those ones. Were you one of those, Anthony? Did you reinforce it with books? You're not using my paper. You built a wall. All right. Oh, man. Scotty, I've heard you got some in the holsters for me.
I do. It's well documented if you're a Cleveland sports fan, Ty, and I know you do like the Patriots in football, but I thought since it's the draft is almost here, I throw a draft question at you. And it's well documented that the Browns got two great players, one a Hall of Famer, the other a Cleveland legend on defensively, one offensively. And those players were Ozzie Newsome and also Clay Matthews in the 1978 draft. But I want to know from you, Ty, what are the names of the two of the other players the Browns took in that draft that I'm thinking of? And I promise I'm not going to change it up on you.
You have to know what Scotty's thinking?
I already know their names. So
Scotty.
If you could just give me their names.
You got Scotty fully believing that I'm a robot now, because he's just like, read my mind now at this point to try to get points. He's so desperate to get points. He's just like, read my mind.
I mean, you have to be I know you know about the 78 draft.
So wait, how many players did the Browns draft total?
Are you looking for like first round picks? Or are you looking for the entire draft?
This is wonky.
What am I thinking of?
I'm looking for it's their second and third round picks in the 78 draft.
All right, and there's a down.
So
that's
the
more
Cleveland
of a,
Browns 1978 draft 2nd and 3rd round picks.
Right.
Yes.
That is a good question. Now that we've deciphered the question out of it. What is it? Clay Matthews and Ozzie Newsome, you mentioned, were drafted in that one. I want to say,
if you get this, Ty,
he's gonna get it.
I swear
he's gonna
to
get it. He
God.
always gets it. Come on.
Scott is so mad. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to make sure like his computer's out of sight so no one.
What?
I'm trying to think if they had two for. I'm trying to think what order.
He's installing, so you can't get other questions.
Remember, it's the picks in the 2nd and 3rd round.
And he's looking for two names.
I'm gonna go with. I think the only ones I could think of, if I'm thinking of like a list in my head, like Matthews, Newsome, Johnny Evans, Larry Collins.
You got to.
You got it. You promise you weren't looking at it. No, you're just that good, man.
He had the question. I'm next to him.
You're just that good.
All right, Scotty, looks like you got 7 more minutes.
Okay. Ty, I want to know from you. I was a big video gamer back in the day. I'm not so much anymore. But I want to know from you, Ty. I know you're a bit younger than me, but you'll probably get this anyway because you get everything.
He's giving up before it starts.
But, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Ty, who graced the cover of Major League Baseball's Triple Play 99?
Oh,
that's a good one. I don't know if I've ever played a triple play game, honestly. Who were some big stars of 99?
I gotta fact check this one because I'm interested.
Triple Play 99. Who was the cover, man?
I'm trying to think of all the big. Well, I honestly don't know this one.
I'm
so
looking at his face. I don't even know who it is. So
So
I'm like, I don't know who that is.
I know it.
I'll have to take.
Because I own this game. It was one of the first baseball games I played.
Look at the graphics. So good.
So, like, in 98, 99, well, if it's 99, they're using probably a 98 roster. So, in 98, if I'm not mistaken, that was Long Gone Summer with Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. I don't know if it's either of those that would be on it. I'm trying to think of some other 90. Well, Ken Griffey would also be a great candidate.
That threw me because I didn't know this guy. I'll just wait till Ty gives the answer.
And I pray to God. I'm 99% sure this is the year. I don't think it was the Triple Play 98. I'm almost positive
You might have the wrong guy.
99. I fact checked it.
I fact checked it, so we're good.
Here's the thing. I fact checked it last week, but I don't want to look it up now because I know you'll be peeking at my computer.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
No, like, I'm just trying to think of like big name athletes at that time, but I don't know if like Triple Play would have even gotten them. So I don't know it. I'm gonna throw out a safe answer, a safety net. Do I want to go Sosa, McGuire, or Griffey? That's kind of. I'll go McGuire.
Oh,
Good,
Scotty, you got him.
Good wrong answer.
Scotty gets so cocky.
What was it?
Like, good wrong answer. You suck.
The answer
Alex Rodriguez.
A-Rod was another one.
Seattle.
I could have thought of
I looked
A-Rod.
at the cover and I forgot he was with Seattle.
I honestly did think of A-Rod, but I didn't think he was too big. I didn't think he was a big enough name at the time to get a cover athlete spot. But yeah, that I guess A-Rod. I know he was on some other like major league games, like
how
22.
long was he in Seattle? Because I just remember
cup of
Texas.
coffee.
Years.
A cup
I
of
just
coffee.
remember.
Almost,
I just
yeah.
remember Texas Rangers
because he got that huge deal with the Rangers after Seattle, and then he got another mega deal with the Yankees.
When I looked at that cover, it threw me off for a bit. I was like, Alex Rodriguez didn't play for the Seattle Mariners. What's this Wikipedia?
It's like some fake game.
Anthony, you thought it was backyard baseball. You're like, is that Kenny Kawaguchi on the cover?
It's like it's Sammy Sosa wearing like a Cleveland Indians like gear, just like on the cover. It's like Scotty's like, I played this all the time as a kid.
Is that Pablo from Backyard Baseball? Oh my gosh, Scotty, you got a little bit of time.
Do you have one more in the canister, Scotty?
I do. I want to know from you, Ty, and this goes back a ways, but I want to know from you.
I'm ready for fact check this one.
It was the first. I'll give you a bit of background here, so you're not totally in the dark on this one. But it was the first baseball video game I ever played.
Name it. That's all you get. Name it.
Yes. Name
the first baseball game I ever played.
Yes, name it. That's it.
I'm sorry. Let's keep going, Scotty.
That was gonna be it. But I'll give you one hint about the game. There was a player on it. There was no cover boy, but this guy was pretty much a cheat code in the game. Like every time you came up with him, you hit a homer. And it was, again, I was born in 88, one of the first games I played. So this guy was basically a superstar of the game. He's very well known, now retired. Who is that guy?
Good luck, Ty.
Like, what is this question? What's the first baseball game Scotty played? He had a good guy that was a cheat code home run hitter every baseball game I've ever played. Well, if you were born in 88, Scotty, I think that's a little bit too late for you to play Atari 2600 baseball. So I don't think it's just anything on the Atari. There's MLB All-Stars and stuff that was on the Nintendo and Super Nintendo. Fast pitch, bases loaded. Oh man, there's so many like Nintendo games, and I feel like it's gonna be on a Nintendo or Super Nintendo. So I'm just gonna say MLB All Stars.
The game was not MLB All Stars. It was triple. It was.
I should have went with triple play.
Triple play. 96.
I just had to go back a couple installments.
Yeah, so
I needed to know the year of triple play 96.
So you
I don't know if I can award this point,
it
Scotty.
was
This
only
is
a
kinda
few
crazy.
years back. Wait, listen. I'll give you one hint.
You already told him the answer.
I didn't tell him.
You told him it was
I
triple play
told him.
96.
Yeah, I told him the game. I didn't tell him the player. It was a two. I'll give you a hint. This player's last season in the league was 2000. That's the hint I'll give.
So is it the cover guy?
there was no one that graced the cover of this game.
Oh,
I don't think any.
So it says who is the cheat code in Triple Play 96.
Knowing it, Scotty, if it's 96 and it's using a 95 roster, it's probably like Albert Bell or something like that.
Got him.
I got the player. I got the player.
See, I give you one. I just give you one. You're like a freaking mouse or something. I give you like one drop of cheese and you're just on it. Man.
That was fun. Scotty, thank you so much.
He got two on me
for coming on. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you, and I know there was a little bit of mind reading. I think you do have some telepathic powers, Ty, but I'll be sure to give you a little more background on future shows.
We'll call Professor Xavier for you. We know him. He's in the wheelchair.
Gonna make it tough on you, but always a pleasure being on with you guys. Thank you for having me.
I'm reading the minds of our viewers, and it's telling them to stay tuned to ysnlive.com for all updates on games coming up in the future.
Casual Sports Podcast coming up next 2 to 3. Power Hour from 3 to 4. Games maybe tonight. Right now there are 5 that are still greenlit. So ysnlive.com/live. Check them out. And we're taking a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday's edition of Running Point. Howland softball Maddie Hufford will be joining us at 12:30. That is a confirmed guest for tomorrow.